In this week's episode of Under the Wire, we're heading to the Pacific Northwest for stop number 3 in the U.S. National Series, and then, we were busy overseas. I'll take you to Hungary, Italy, the Czech Republic, and then all the way down under to Australia for points races of their own. You're welcome. Let's go. Spartans, what's going on? I'm Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports, and welcome to Under the Wire. The Spartan season is in full swing, and the last few weekends have not left us disappointed. Before we jump into our first recap, how about a quick look back? Nicole Mericle has absolutely dominated the women's U.S. field. I mean, she's had a perfect 600 score through the first 2 races. Let's check out how she got there.
For 2019, I'm excited to hopefully start the season injury-free, healthy.
Nicole Mericle's running style really just reminds me of her personality, relaxed.
Is anyone going to be able to run her down? Because she just keeps moving past the men's field like they're not even there.
I did fail the spear, but at that point, I thought that Nell was fitter than me. And so I thought if she doesn't fail anything, she's probably going to beat me.
Nell Rojas won the first race this year out in California, beating Nicole Mericle. There we go.
Women's race is off and going.
Oh, look at the speed out the front, Nicole.
7-second gap right now. Nicole Mericle with the lead right now, and she looks incredibly comfortable. When you look at her, I see no fatigue on her in any way.
It translated into a 10-minute win.
Look how easy she flips this Yokohama tire. Nicole Mericle is coming into the A-frame cargo net, claiming 300 points in the 2019 U.S. National Series, Race 1.
And Nicole Mericle on the right, she won the race last week. Nicole Mericle is flying and out in front with wings on her feet and no one else in sight. She likes to come out fast, but she's proven that she can sustain it. Claiming her second win in the U.S. National Series in 2019, winning in Jacksonville, winning once again today in Alabama. This is Nicole Mericle.
There's no doubt that Mericle is the one to beat, but always nipping at her heels is Rebecca Hammond, who announced just days before Seattle that she was not going to compete in the 3rd U.S. National Series race. With a lingering foot injury from last month's Alabama race, Hammond decided that treating and resting that injury was more important than competing. The decision immediately takes her out of contention for the U.S. National Series Championship title. Regardless, the women's field was still stacked, including reigning U.S. National Series and world champion Lindsay Webster, Rea Kolbl, Alyssa Hawley, and then some. Webster and Mericle led the pack pretty early on, with the likes of Kolbl, Hawley, and Seattle hometown hero Rose Wetzel closely behind. Webster put her lead in jeopardy with a fail in the monkey bars, but luckily for her, Mericle fell victim to the same. The rain and mud really presented the athletes with a challenge on the grip and strength obstacles, but it was a challenge most welcome. Webster made easy work of the helix and Mericle of the Z-wall. There was only ever a minute or so that separated them throughout the course of the race. Faye Stenning making it into the top 5, but it was Webster who came out on top, beating out the U.S. National Series leader Nicole Mericle, and Kolbl getting her first podium spot of the year at 3rd place, overcome with emotion, all smiles at the end of this one. Now, despite Webster's win in Seattle, Mericle still sits atop the women's U.S. National Series standings, but only by 36 points. Every race counts, and it's shaping up for the Big Bear Beast on May 18th to count a lot. Alyssa Hawley is sitting at 3rd after her 4th place finish in Seattle, with Rea Kolbl and Rose Wetzel claiming 4th and 5th in the standings. Speaking of standings, Veejay Jones doesn't care about them. He doesn't even qualify to win the U.S. National Series after missing race number 1. But that's not stopping him from trying to shake the other guys off their game. 2019 has been the 20-year-old's year, winning every race that he's competed in thus far, and he's not looking to break that streak anytime soon.
The young kid from California, he has managed to reel off a win in every single race that he has competed in. Ladies and gents, Veejay Jones, way out in front. And does he look tired at all to you?
No, he looks absolutely calm.
After a 12th place finish in Lake Tahoe last year, it seems that Veejay Jones has rededicated himself.
Crossing the finish line, we have Veejay Jones taking first place.
I tell you what, look at the way that he's raced so far this season. First. He beats Hobie Call and Cody Moat. He is in fine form.
And Veejay Jones, the young kid, 20 years old.
That was a cool confidence booster. Looking to get some more wins this year and really climb the ranks.
When you consider the talent in this field, they now have another man to fear, and that's Veejay Jones. Veejay is actually undefeated so far on the season. He didn't race in Jacksonville. He felt a little under the weather and didn't end up making the trip. This is Veejay Jones in first position at the Twister, and can you imagine doing it more effortlessly than that? 20 years old, carrying this bucket at a dead run. Stronger than he looks. Oh, the finger point.
Oh, I love it. He is laying it down.
And this is Veejay Jones, an emphatic stamp as he comes over the fire and crosses the line, tapping the timer. Veejay Jones is your U.S. National Series Race 2 champ.
Honestly, I was not expecting, like I felt confident, but I honestly had no idea I was going to stack up against these guys. I haven't raced any of them.
Opposite to the young gun is one of the more seasoned athletes in the sport, Robert Killian. Standing at 4th place heading into Seattle, Killian announced that he wouldn't be racing in the 3rd U.S. National Series race. Instead, he spent the weekend down in Atlanta coaching a team in the annual Best Ranger competition, a competition he himself has previously won. Like Hammond, the decision not to compete in Seattle takes him out of contention for the U.S. National Series title. Following Killian's post announcing his Seattle absence, we saw some pretty solid arguments about it being a strategy to make a run at the September World Championship campaign. So Spartans, we want to hear from all of you. Would you pull out of a lesser race to rest yourself for something bigger? Or keep up the momentum and try to win them all? So I want you to type R for race all or type T for take a break. Killian, out. Ryan, they're in. The guys, same as the ladies, were tested by the conditions. Ryan Kempson, who was the U.S. National Series leader, fell behind in the race after failing the monkey bars. Ryan Atkins proved dominant throughout the course, maintaining a solid lead, though it was the comeback to Veejay Jones and Ryan Kent that was probably the most impressive. While within the top 4, both Veejay and Kent failed the Z-wall and were forced to take on their 30 burpees. But despite the time elapsed on the penalty, the two Spartans were determined to close the gap and fight back. Veejay gave Atkins a run for his money, catching up with him and battling it out on the last few obstacles. Atkins squeezed out a victory, but just barely. Veejay Jones following him in 2nd, Ryan Kent rounding out the podium in 3rd, and that is how it's done, folks. With Atkinson's win in Seattle, he tops Ryan Kempson for the 1st spot in the U.S. National Series standings. Ryan Kent sure getting friendly with that 3rd spot, both on the podium and in the standings. Then a big gap, with Kirk DeWitt and Johnny Luna Lima sitting tight at 4th. Bye-bye, Robert Killian. Ryan Woods, who you may remember most recently for his retracted DQ in February's Jacksonville race, showed up to Seattle nursing a hamstring injury from training. With Jacksonville's low point score, Woods had a lot of ground to make up in Seattle. But the reigning U.S. National Series champ is now totally out of the running. Not even a quarter mile into the race, Woodsy DNF'd himself and exited the race. To not feel left out, Woods spent the morning running alongside his fellow athletes, cheering them on along the course. The camaraderie among these athletes is truly incredible. Let's head overseas now. Curious how the Italian National Series is going? Ditto. Spartans came out from France and Central Europe ready to battle it out with the local Italian athletes in the countryside of Maggiora, Italy. Janka Popova of Sri Lanka came out on top of the women's field, taking the first gold of the Italian National Series, and hometown hero Eugenio Bianchi did the same for the men's side. Moving east to, wow, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the city, Hungary. It was the first stop of the CEU Regional Series with a relatively strong men's field, but the CEU is still struggling to develop a deeper women's field. So hey, If you happen to know of anyone in the Central Europe area, tell them to sign up. Slovakian teammates Peter Žižka and Jakub Haviarek placed first and second respectively, with Czech Tomáš Tuverdik rounding out the podium. And Hungary local Groholi Babbitt took home first place in the women's field. The following weekend, things heated up as we headed to Australia. The Sunshine Coast venue welcomed more than 2,000 Spartan Kid racers and hosted the second race in the Australian National Series. Tony Curtis took home the #1 spot in the men's field, and Joanna Hills did the same for the women. Back to the CEU, Kutná Hora, Czech Republic to be exact, St. Barbara's Church, dating all the way back to the 14th century, hosted the most recent Spartan CEU Regional Series race. Like, OMG, it was so pretty. With the course weaving in and out of the grounds, sign me up for the next one. The race for points was the sprint, and the athletes showed no mercy. Again, Slovakia's Peter Žižka took home first place with a time of 30 minutes, 34 seconds. Hometown hero Kristina Fabianova snagged first place for the women, clocking in at 37 minutes, 48 seconds. Since its inception, Spartan has strived to push people outside of their comfort zones. The long miles, tough obstacles, and weather conditions all test Spartans every weekend. But last weekend, Munich, Germany took things to the next level. Are you afraid of the dark? Well, these Spartans aren't. Munich hosted their first ever night sprint, with the heats starting at 8:30 p.m. Spartans, we want to know, would you be down for a night race, completely throwing off your senses in the darkness of the night? I mean, I've been told I look better in the dark, so I would totally be down for the challenge. If you're watching on Instagram, if you're watching on Facebook, we want you to comment why for yes and for no, would you do a night race? We've got a busy couple of weekends ahead of us with the first races of the East and Southeast Asia Regional Series, as well as the UK and Ireland Regional Series with more to come. As always, be sure to follow Spartan Race on Instagram for updates all around the globe. And of course, we'll be back to break it all down for you. Until then, I'm Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports, and this has been Under the Wire.